Hi, my name is George Putong, and this is Are You Local, a podcast about finding one's place far from home. In this podcast, I'll chat with everyday people who've moved to different cities and countries to hear their stories and to understand how they're adapting. What's the goal? It's to get their first-hand tips for all of us who are thinking or dreaming of new places to live in. Hey, Quentin, it's nice to hear from you again.
Yeah, my pleasure too, George. Like it has been a long time.
First of all, how do you pronounce Montreal? Is it Montreal? My French is not good.
I mean, in French it will be Montréal,
Montreal.
but in English we all say Montreal.
All right, and this is on the eastern side, right, of Canada, right?
Yeah, it's on the eastern side of Canada. It's part of Quebec province, which is the French part of Canada. Because obviously Canada is a bilingual country. There are two official languages are French and English, but there is only one province in Canada that actually speaks French, and it's here in Quebec and in Montreal, which is the biggest city in this province, in this state.
Well, how long have you been in Montreal?
So it's already my 6 years here. It wasn't supposed to last so long, but yeah, already my 6 years here in Montreal.
Well, I've heard that in recent years, you've lived in pretty diverse parts of the world, like Singapore, Taiwan, Poland. Tell us a little bit about where you were originally from.
Yes, so as you can maybe understand, I'm from France. My hometown is in Alsace. Alsace is the region really at the border of Germany and Switzerland. So I used to live there until my 20s, and at some point I was supposed to go to different business schools and try to do the exams to get to one of them. But I felt like my English wasn't that good at that time, so I wanted to find a way to improve my English before getting to one of these business school. And so that at that time came the opportunity to do in what we have in Europe, Erasmus program. So it's a program that offers to different students the opportunity to go in a foreign countries with foreign students as well, and to basically get all their courses in English, or I mean in another language. In my town, we didn't have much partnership. It was either Poland, Turkey, and Romania, I think.
Mhm.
So, and I just decided to apply for Poland because some of my friends went there as well before me, and they all gave me like really great tips and really nice feedbacks about Poland. So that's how I ended in Poland. I stayed there for 1 year in a city called Katowice. It's close to Krakow, which is one probably of the nicest city in Eastern Europe.
Mm.
And I stayed there for a year to improve my English. So I get all my courses in English. Was the first time for me, and also to get along with foreigners and with students from all over the world, from Germany, from Taiwan, from China, from Colombia, from the States. So it was really my first experience with foreigners, and also
Mhm.
my first time to get to know other cultures. And my roommates also were from different countries. At that time, I shared my room with one guy from Turkey, and
Mhm.
also and two other guys from Taiwan and China. So and we all, like all the students, we used to sleep in the same place in the dormitory of the school.
Wow.
So you always end up with other people to,
Yeah,
and we were all
people.
there for yeah, we were all there for the same goal to improve our English, and I think to yeah, to get along with other people from other places.
And that's what motivated you later on to move to Taiwan, Singapore?
Yeah, correct. So when I finished Poland, I like I just understood that the world is really, I mean, yeah, the world is big. We are surrounded by different cultures and different people that don't think the same way as you do, and then you can always learn from them. And as soon as my English level improved, I applied for this business school in France. And we are lucky that our schools have many partnerships also abroad. So once I've started the business school in France, I applied for another program, which was in Taiwan. So I went to Taiwan for 8 months, also in a school over there. So over there, I was also with only two or three guys from my school and only classmates from Taipei, Taiwan. So that was another cultural shock for me. I used to only travel in Europe or
You're
to be with European people, and now it was really a step ahead to go in Asia. I was really looking forward to see how it is over there, and the cultural shock was there actually, like for the food, the behavior of the people. So that was another great experience for me, and my stay in Taipei really convinced me that I need to stay longer in Asia to really
mm-hmm,
get everything from that place. So,
mm-hmm,
and that's how I ended up in Singapore. I was looking for a job because I did a gap year, so I
mm-hmm.
was free for a year to work anywhere I wanted, and the opportunity to go to Singapore came on the table, and then that's how basically we also met in the apartment in Singapore,
Yeah.
and yeah, and Singapore was yeah, I was working there.
Your Instagram is just beautiful. There's so many photos, so many different places from the islands. I know you went to the Philippines. Did you go to Vietnam by any chance? Because Vietnam used to be French.
Yeah, used to be at some point, but no, for now I haven't had the chance to visit Vietnam. In Asia, I went so to Taiwan and Singapore. So I mean, I moved there. I really stayed there for a long time, but for shorter trips, I went to Thailand,
Thailand.
Malaysia, Indonesia, 3 times in Philippines, and
Three
also
times.
Hong Kong. Yeah, yeah, 3 times. Like I really loved Philippines. My last trip was just before the COVID, but really before, like 2 weeks before everything closed. So we were also lucky to enjoy this trip as well.
I'm glad you enjoyed the Philippines. But now that you're in Montreal, what motivated you to move to Canada?
So actually, after my work my job in Singapore, I really loved the occupation I had over there. So basically, in Singapore, I was working for a consulting agency, and the mandate of this company was to help and support foreign companies who want to develop their business in Southeast Asia. So our markets were mostly Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia. So, and most of our clients were French entrepreneurs that wanted to grow their business in Southeast Asia and hired us to help them to connect with the best partners in Singapore or Indonesia in regards to where they wanted to develop their brands or their product or their services. So really the occupation that motivated me to improve my skills in this area. So I've asked my boss in Singapore if it's possible for him to push my CV and resume his um, to his colleagues that are working in other places, and
Hmm.
I've asked him to send my information to the English speaking countries. So I had the opportunity to do interviews in for the office in Hong Kong, US, and Canada. And at the end of the day, it appeared that Montreal was the easiest way to get in for French to get the visa. So that's how I ended in Canada. So in Canada, I was working for the colleague of my previous boss in Singapore, doing the
Mhm.
same job, helping foreign companies who wanted to grow their business, but this time in Canada. So same job, but in another place.
How was it like to settle down in Canada, to settle in Canada?
Uh, Maybe what I would say is a bit biased because I'm French, but as long as you are French, it's also easier to settle in Montreal because everyone speaks French. So it's very funny that you cross an ocean and you find another territory that speaks the same language as you, but is not part of your country. And Montreal is really large city. It's 3 million inhabitants, I guess. So it was really funny to get in Montreal and to see that all of them like speaks French. I thought that most of them were like I thought at the really beginning I thought that Montreal was bilingual, but actually French is really the number one language.
Mm.
So it's really easy for the French speakers to come to Montreal. But then everything went quite easy for me because, as I said, like many French went there. I have some French friends who also went to Montreal in the past, so they gave me all their feedbacks and all their tips. So I found very easily a really nice collocation in Montreal. So I shared a house with 20 other roommates.
Wow, 20
And
other.
yeah, 20 roommates. It was like a huge house separated into three floors. And we were all really young students or young
Mm.
professionals. So all in the same atmosphere. So it was really easy at first to get new friends and very fast because we were
Mm.
all like really new in the city. We wanted all to do the same things, to visit the same things at the same time. So I would say that my first month were quite amazing uh, because I was surrounded by people just like me who just came in,
Yeah.
didn't have much in the city, basically no friends, nothing. But then we were just close friends very fast, and we have shared very good memories all together.
How would you describe Montreal as a city or and its people? How is it like over there?
First of all, you have to be aware about the weather in Montreal because it's not like in Singapore. It's not the whole year 32 degrees and always humid. In Montreal, we have approximately 4 or 5 months of winter, so with a lot of snow. And so that's something that you have to take into account when you decide to come to Canada. You have to wait a long time before to get the summer, but once the summer is Montreal, I would say that is one of the best city in the world because you were waiting for so long to get a bit of warm weather that everyone is really happy to go outside again, to go to the park, to organize barbecues. And
Mm.
people in Montreal are very friendly. Really, it's an open-minded city for everyone. It's a multicultural city. You've got people from Europe, people from South America, from Asia, from Africa, from everywhere. It's a liberal society where all the religions are shared. The city,
Mm-hmm.
every like I mean, you can really be yourself in this city. No one will judge you. You've got tattoos people. You've got someone with pink hair. Then you've got someone else wearing funny clothes. So it's really a liberal city. And as I said, what keeps me here, it's really the 3 or 4 months of summer that we've got. Uh,
Mm.
the city has really a really good vibe during the summer. A lot of festivals, a lot of concerts, and a lot of sports activity as well. You can bike around the island of Montreal. You can rent a car, and after just 1 hour drive, you are really in the middle of nowhere. You can hike in the mountains. You can swim in a lake. So it's a really nature country, and it's obviously bigger than Singapore, so you can really escape from the city easily with a car and be in the middle of nowhere.
What would your advice be for someone like let's say myself who's never been there? What would your advice be for someone who chooses to move to Montreal or to settle down there?
So my tips, like first of all, but like in Singapore, I would check all the visa requirements because everything has changed recently in Canada. They have been a bit more strict on it than in the past, and obvious and even more strict in Quebec. So as it is in the States, every provinces in Canada has their own rules. And for
Mm-hmm.
example, in Quebec, they are really looking for French speaking people because they want to yeah, to protect the French heritage that they've got from the past, and they're really proud of that. So for only English speakers, it could be hard to settle in Montreal and even to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
But my one of my advice would be to once you come in Montreal or in Canada and in a more global way,
Mm-hmm.
you can check the different Facebook or Instagram group of your own community. They've got a lot of, for example, there is a huge community of Filipino people here in Montreal
Mm-hmm.
as well. So it might be also easier for someone that doesn't know anyone in the country to try to get inside of one of these groups to at least know some people and then get along and also try to do some sports. It's also something that helped me a lot. I
Mm.
was looking to be a bit more part of the Canadian culture, uh, even though the soccer is not the most popular sport in Canada. I've tried hockey, and I've tried all the other Canadian sports, ice skating, and it's at this kind of place that you can really meet Canadian people and try to get new friends as well from this country. So that would be one of my advice, and of course, you can. It's always better to start with a collocation. If you can share an house with different people, they will also help you uh, to to settle in, to do some activities, to go out in the city.
These are fantastic tips, Quentin. The name of the podcast is Are You Local? What do you think is the definition of being local?
So it's as I said, and it's something that I've discovered after moving to different countries or to travel in different countries. Being a local for me is to be really surrounded by the local people and to understand their culture or how they live, how they think, and it's really something that now I really focus on it. I recently I've did a travel in Colombia for 3 weeks, and I always, as much as I can, as I could, I've tried to stay only with Colombian people to understand how it is over there. Even if I don't really speak well Spanish, at least I have tried with my few words, my bad vocabulary. But it's the way you get really inside of a new culture, and it's also something that I've tried in Singapore and in Taiwan. And getting along new people from different countries, you grow your mind, and you also it's always new great assets that you can get for even your personal life, but also for your professional life.
I've learned so much from you, just from this chat, and it's been, I feel, 6 years since we last chatted. Some of my favorite things that you've mentioned are, your tips is that, learn the language. Number two, live with 20 housemates. What you meant was, to have different flatmates, because I feel that I can relate with that, because when I moved to Singapore, that's how I met you, because we shared a flat together. Number three, you said earlier, you said surround yourself with people who don't think like you do. I think, yeah, you said that very earlier on in the podcast. And I really like that because, it challenges you to, to learn something new, because you're surrounding yourself with different people, different points of view. And number 4, you said earlier, join local groups, organizations. And 5, sports. Definitely sports. I'm glad that you've tried different sports that different from what you're used to. Did we miss anything that which you feel that we need to mention? I think earlier, prior to our recording, you mentioned a research piece about reverse culture shock.
Yeah, actually the reverse cultural shock is something that I've studied for my master thesis, and it came on the table because I've traveled a lot, and always when I came back to France, France is my home, the country I love, where all my family live. I feel now that I'm really different from them because I've traveled a lot. I've been surrounded by other cultures, and my mind has changed. My mind has grown. But in the same time, my childhood friends or my parents, they are still in the same life that they had like 6 years ago when I moved from to go to Canada. And that's the reverse cultural shock. And it's really something that could be hard when you decide to go back to your country, for example. So if tomorrow I decide to go back to France and leave everything in Canada, I will definitely feel it again, because maybe I'm not, I don't have the same behavior that I used to have like 6 years ago, 6 or 10 years ago, when I didn't know what the world is surrounded by these different cultures. And that's the topic of your podcast: be local. If you're in Canada and you try to stay with Canadian, try to eat like them, try to understand their behavior and way of thinking, and then you go back to France, then you will see the difference.
Thank you so much, Quentin. It's great to hear your story and to hear from you again.
No problem, my pleasure. It was really nice to chat with you as well.
You've been listening to Are You Local with me, George Poutonc. I just spoke with my friend Quentin, who is a French national living in Montreal, Canada. If you enjoyed this podcast, do give it a follow on the platform you're listening to this on. Are You Local is written, edited, and produced entirely by yours truly. Thank you for listening. Maraming salamat.